All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. We hope you like this video and subscribe. We got a lot of good content coming up, a lot of offshore fishing, a lot of inshore fishing. Today, the purpose is I want to review a Sweepfire Daiwa 4000-2B. So it's got 2 ball bearings. This is a cheap reel, it's plastic, but for the price, it's basically anywhere from $20 to $25. Here we go. It's a 5.3 to 1 gear ratio aluminum spool. And this is gonna be primarily a inshore rod for us. We'll also use it for catching bait offshore. So if we're rigging up a sabiki, and here's the stats here. You can see we got, if you put 12-pound test, you could put 260 yards on it. If you put 10-pound test, you could do 300 yards. And, you know, so we're actually going to put either 15-pound test monofilament. This is Berkeley trilene. I've had this forever, so we're trying to burn the spool up. As you can see, it's not really burning up too much. But our go-to would be the Power Pro 20-pound Power Pro for this setup. We also do like the Diamond line as well. They make a great monofilament as well as great braid. But I have the Power Pro, so we are going to be using this. This 20-pound Power Pro is equivalent of a 6-pound mono diameter. So it's really thin. And this should be, you know, basically considering that the 12-pound monofilament we could put on 260 yards, so we can cut that. We can actually double it. So this is going to be almost 500 yards of 20. But it seems like a solid reel. We're going to be mainly using these for red fishing. And as I said, we're going to be using it for catching bait, but primarily redfish. It's a front drag system. As you can see, 13.2 pounds of drag. That's enough for us. Let's take the top off here and you can see this guy. If it would come. There we go. There you go. It does have the digi gear that Daiwa was known for, but I don't know how much engineering they put into this reel. So the 5-point, I'll put it back on for you. It's greased up pretty well. I bought this a few years ago and finally getting around to breaking it out. So typically the inshore setup we use, you know, I don't really spend a lot of money on the reels just because, you know, look, if we get, you know, 1 to 3, 4 years out of this reel, we would be happy. It's the offshore setup. I would prefer to spend more money on those reels, given the drag you're going to be using and the setup. You know, I try to find a deal for the inshore setups. I'll spend anywhere from, well, this is 20 bucks. But really 20 bucks to call it 60, 80 bucks. If I find a deal on a reel, that's when I'll pick it up. So I think I got a deal on this reel. Now, we're gonna pair this reel with a Ferrari of a rod. It's a Star rod. This is a Stellar Light rod, and it's a 7'6" setup. As you can see here, monofilament is 8 to 17 pound test. It's a little bit thicker of a rod. But this is a perfect inshore setup, perfect for jig and bait, as I said, offshore. It's a nice solid rod. You can see it's got a nice light tip. So if you want to throw, you know, lures with this, this would be a great setup. You can see here we bought this rod at Strike Zone. Original price was $120, and they have their semi-annual tent sale where we got it for $59.99. So I try to pick up deals like that when I can. I think the reason that it was on sale was either a setup, it was basically a second a demo rod, or because of this cork issue. But that really doesn't impact the rod as much. So here we go. So I'm going to show you how I will put the braid on there. And this rod's pretty balanced. You know, it's a nice setup. I think this reel is what, 13 ounces or so. So it's not too heavy. you know, if you're throwing topwaters and you're casting all day, then maybe you'd want to get a different reel for this setup. But for what we're doing, where we're sitting and putting the blue crab, quarter of a blue crab, and kind of waiting for the redfish to strike, or throwing a popping jig with a popping cork, you know, this is not a bad setup. So, and I'm going to show you basically the way I set it up. This is the standard red fishing way. We basically will put on the fluorocarbon leader. This is 20-pound test fluorocarbon. So I use a variety of fluorocarbon, whatever I get a deal on. This is Seagar. This is 20 pounds. I'll show you how I set it up. Typically I'll use anywhere from a 3 to 4 foot fluorocarbon leader and a 1/2 ounce egg sinker. So that's this guy right here. And we'll pair that with Mustad Terminant approved circle hooks. So this is a 6/0 or 7/0. As you can see, they've gotten a little bit wet. These we bought for offshore fishing, but unfortunately they don't work very well because you're gonna bend the hook. So we've taken these, and this box was like 25 bucks a box. We've taken these and started using them for inshore fishing, red fishing, and they work really well. Solid choice. And here's the 7/0. It's a nice solid gap where you could put the blue crab on. And here's the 6/0. So that's a 7/0, that's the 6/0. So I use both of these. You can see there's definitely a size difference. But to me, either one works great. And so we're going to show you that technique. So I debated to put monofilament on it. Monofilament will last anywhere from 8 months to a year. Braid lasts 3 to 8 years. So big difference there. So I'm going to throw the braid on there. And I'm going to show you how I set that up. So this is 20-pound Power Pro. I'll do a nice little uni knot here. So we're taking the knot. We're going to just basically, we're going to make a loop here. And we're going to come back and make a second loop. So it's almost like an S, you can see. And so we're going to take that and we're going to go. So all you did is made a loop. Okay, pinched it right there. Come behind that, and we're gonna go 3 to 5 times over that loop. So it's really simple. So pinch it. Now you're coming over both strings right there, both the lines, and you're gonna go over, and you're gonna do that. You're gonna go through it anywhere from 3 to 5 times. All right, so there you go. So that's that. The reason I say 3 times is because if you get down to the bottom of the barrel of this reel, you're kind of, you know, do you necessarily want a knot that's going to be super strong, or do you want a knot that may give a little bit if it gets pulled out? So I typically will do 5. But so we pulled it tight. We've pulled the knot tight, and now actually we can, if you want to, you can cut the tag in there, boom. Now we are going, not a big deal, it came off the reel. We are going to slide the knot down, just like that, okay? Slid down, flip the bail, and now I recommend you get a piece of towel, and you can wet the towel too if you want. It makes it a little bit easier. But really, braid cuts, as a lot of you know. Let's see here, we're gonna throw it on. Let's see here, I might have to get it started a little bit. Sometimes people will put electrical tape. But it's a $20 reel, so we don't need to get too fancy. All right, so we got it spooling on. You want to keep constant pressure here. Ideally, the tackle shop, they put it on super fast. They use the line lining machines. It makes a big difference. It's compact. It's on there. It's done properly. But the thing is, to do that at to buy the braid at the tackle shop, you're going to spend a good amount of money. So like this would cost you 50 bucks to put on braid, this amount of braid, easily 40 bucks. Maybe 60 bucks, it's expensive. So we're gonna wind this on, look how it's going on nice and easy. You can tell there's 2 ball bearings. It's fairly smooth. And you wanna keep constant pressure, and you wanna go right to the lip. So you can use the towel if you want, but this is going on fairly good. Now, some people will skip putting a monofilament leader, whether that's fluorocarbon or just regular mono. I'm a big fan of fluorocarbon. I think it makes a big difference. You know, look, it costs a lot of money to go fishing, and what's an extra few bucks to buy the good stuff, the fluorocarbon. So we're almost at the end here. All right. You can hear that drag. I think that's gonna be good. So you can see here, it's coming off nicely. It's nicely packed on there. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the next step. So, all right, you see I basically have enough. There's a lip here. You don't wanna overdo it and overpack it. See, when you flip the bail, it's not like flying off. All right. So the next step is to tie on the fluorocarbon leader. Alexis. All right, so we're gonna put it through the guides. All right. You can tell these are small little eyes here. But this is gonna be a perfect rod, perfect setup for what we do. All right. Now typically I tell people, you know, when I put on braid to mono, it's best to not cast through the guides. Like these are really small guides, so you want to be cognizant of that, and you know, I try not to, so not to cast the knot. But we're gonna make a loop here. So this is our fluorocarbon leader I talked about, 20-pound test. So it's 20 to 20. We're gonna make a loop just like that, just pinching it. Okay, really simple knot, easy to do. We're going to take the braid, it's nice and straight, give ourselves plenty of slack. So we went through the loop here, and we're gonna pinch it up here. And we're gonna, so that's all you've done. You've gone through, you made a loop and you've gone through the loop. And now we're gonna take the braid and we're gonna go around 10 times, going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't want to go back on itself. Let me. Seven. 8, 9, 10. All right. Now we went up 10 times, so that's all it looks like, just like that. It's like one of those Chinese finger things. So now we're gonna pinch the top of this knot here, and we're gonna go down 10 times. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you don't like go back on itself. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this is important because we only went and used one strand. Okay, sometimes I'll double it up. I'll basically send two strands up and 2 back. This is a single one. We want to come in the same way we want to go out the same way we're coming in, so that this knot is pointed towards you. Okay, we want to come in and go the same way that's going out, like that's coming in. So boom, just like that. Okay, now if you had gone the other way, it would have unraveled on you when you cinched it down. So this is what you're looking at. All right, I recommend you wet it down. You can use your saliva, or you can use your like a cup of water or whatever. So now we're gonna basically work it down. We're gonna pull the braided side, and we're gonna pull it down. Okay, we're gonna help it along the way, and we're gonna pull. Okay, and we're gonna cinch it down just like that. See, we have to pull the tag in there, not a problem. And then I always will do a solid test. You just saw it cinch down on itself. You know, this is 20-pound test, so it's not like super strong. But I just pulled it down, and look how that looks. Like, looks perfect. Just like that. I could do a final test here, just to check it out. That's got some solid pressure on it. So now we just need to cut the tag end off, both tag ends. You want to try to get as close to the knot as you can without like cutting the knot, just like that. Okay, next we'll do the monofilament tag. Same thing, get it as close as you can go, just like that. Now, once we're at this point, I always double check, because sometimes you accidentally nick it or whatever, and I tighten it down. I'll pull it down, just like that. And it actually looks like part of it got cut a little bit, like there was a nick or something. Like you could see that. So I think I'm gonna retie this knot. You can just see right there, but maybe it's nothing. It looks like how there's a little bit of a nick, but maybe it's fine. It's pretty strong. Okay. I might come back and retie that, but we can, sometimes it's better, like if you notice like a chafage or a nick, you know, to cut it off and redo it, because there's nothing worse than losing a fish. So, all right, we're gonna tie this one more time. It wasn't something that I cut, but apparently it was just there. Maybe I did nick it, who knows? But all right, we're gonna do this one more time. We're gonna make a loop here. We're gonna take our braided line, straight line, come through the loop. You're gonna give yourself plenty of slack, and then you're gonna basically pinch that loop and where that braid is coming up. So right here, you've made a loop with the monofilament, you've taken the braid through the loop, just like that. And you're gonna go up 10 times. You're gonna work it up. You're gonna go around the monofilament 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you don't go back on itself. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now at this point, you're gonna pinch the top of the braid in the monofilament. So right here, you're basically gonna pinch the top. And you're gonna go down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now again, this is important. You gotta come out the same way you started. So the line is going towards you. You wanna basically throw that back into that. See, the line is going there. This is where you're going, right there, boom. Now you wanna wet this down, and you're gonna work the knot down. You're gonna basically slide the knot down. So you're gonna put pressure on both the tag end and the braid, and you're gonna work it down, just like that, help it down. Okay, you're gonna cinch it down, just saw it cinch down right there. Cinch down the tag. All right, that looks great. We're gonna cut the tag's ends off as close to the knot as possible without nicking it. Cut the monofilament fluorocarbon tag end off. Okay, we're gonna give it a good test. That looks good, nice and strong. And we're gonna pull ourselves out 3 feet of this fluorocarbon leader. Just a little bit extra. So we're gonna clip it. Now, this is we don't put a swivel on it. We're gonna put a 1/2 ounce egg sinker. There you go, that's primarily our go-to weight. It holds, we're fishing in anywhere from, up to 8 feet of water or so. And then we're gonna throw in here our Mustad circle hook 7/0. You can use the 6/0, I've used both. And we're gonna throw that on there. This guy's a little rusty, but that's okay. I'm gonna snell the knot for you, so I wanna show you how to do that. So a snelling of a knot, it's really simple. All you're gonna do is basically go through the eye of the hook. You're gonna make another loop. So you make a lot of loops in fishing. You're gonna pinch the back of the loop, okay? There's more than one way to do this, but this is how I do it, and it works really well. And you're gonna go through. So you've pinched the loop, you made a loop, you're gonna pinch the loop, pinch the top of it, just like that, right? Along the back of the hook, you're gonna take your tag in and you're gonna start working down. You're gonna go around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go 6, 7 times. So you have a tag end now here and you have your original loop. You're gonna go through the loop. The tag end goes through the loops. So now you're basically gonna help it down. Same thing as before. You're gonna help it down. You're gonna pull the back end of it as well. Now, if I'm in a rush and I'm trying to get a knot done, I'll tie a uni knot. But because we're on land and we have plenty of time, I'm gonna snell it. So there you go. So you're just pulling it tight. You kind of worked it down. If the knot were to go above the eye of the hook, you just kind of push it back down and start pulling it from the back side here. So we've cinched that knot down. We're gonna cut the tag end off, just like this. This is a really stealthy move, stealthy setup. One is the fluorocarbon, and there you go. And the nice thing about the snell is, look at how that hook's sitting. That fish picks it up, it's gonna go right in the corner of his mouth. Just like that. So no swivel, just a solid little piece of leader, 20-pound fluoro, 1/2 ounce egg sinker, 6 or 7/0 circle hook. And usually I like to go as light as possible on the weight. But sometimes we'll go and we'll have to bump it up to 3/4 of an ounce to an ounce. But primarily this setup works really, really well. And basically we're gonna put a quarter of a blue crab. So a live blue crab, we're gonna pop the shell off, pop the claws off. We're gonna quarter it, so the body's like this, and we quarter it, put it in basically 4 pieces. And so a chunk, you're gonna put the hook right through the, where the leg goes of a blue crab. And it's gonna be out there. We've showed you videos on how to do it. And just like that. And that fish picks it up basically and starts running. So you'll just pick up the rod and start finding the fish. Really simple, really easy. Like I said, if you notice a nick or a chafe on the leader, be sure to swip it, basically cut it off and retie it. You can retie this setup a bunch of times if you get cut off, or if you notice that chafage. There's nothing worse than losing a fish and knowing like, hey, you did something wrong and your leader was all messed up. So this is a pretty cool, pretty easy setup. And this is our new setup here. So here we go. We're gonna put that back on straight. Let's go up here with that. All right, so just like that. There we go. Now we're all ready for fishing. And if you wanted to put a popping cork on there, it's really easy. You'd cut this off, throw a popping cork on there with a little tiny leader, about a foot and a half leader, and you're all set and ready to go. So we're gonna give you an update on the reel when we catch some fish on it. So we'll see how that goes. But here's the setup. Hope you like this video. Subscribe to the channel. We're gonna have a lot of good content, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much.